Have you ever wondered what's going on behind the scenes of your favorite apps? The powerful systems that make everything work. Well, today we're going to break down the complete 2025 Backend Developer Roadmap into a super clear step-by-step guide. We're covering everything from the ground up so you can go out and build your own amazing applications. So, ready to dive in? And look, this isn't just a checklist. Think of it as a journey that's going to take you from the absolute basics all the way to launching your first real-world application. Let's get started. Okay, so before we can build anything, we gotta lay the groundwork, right? This first part is all about the fundamentals, how the internet and web servers actually work. And you know what's cool? You can actually nail these fundamentals way faster than you think. In about a week, seriously, you can learn how DNS turns a website name into an address, and how HTTP is the language of the web. From there, you'll get the hang of the client-server model and set up your code editor. We really recommend VS Code. It's free, it's what almost everyone uses, and it's perfect for getting started. With those fundamentals down, it is time to choose your main tool. And this is a biggie, picking the programming language you're going to build everything with. This chart really tells a story. I mean, you've got options: Java, C#, Go, but the latest data from the Stack Overflow survey shows a really clear trend. JavaScript and Python are what professional developers are using the most by a long shot. That makes them a fantastic place to focus your energy. So, which one do you pick? Well, our source material has a strong recommendation. Start with Node.js, and here's why. It uses JavaScript, which is the language of the web, so it immediately opens up the possibility of becoming a full-stack developer. But the real game changer is how Node handles tons of connections at once without breaking a sweat. It's incredibly efficient, which is a massive plus for modern apps. So if you do go with Node.js, here's what your first month is going to look like. You'll get to know NPM, which is how you'll manage all the building blocks of your project. You'll also learn asynchronous programming. That's the secret sauce behind Node's amazing performance. And you'll need to understand middleware. Just think of it like a series of security checkpoints for requests coming into your app. Finally, you'll grab a framework like Express.js to actually start building things. Now that your app has a language to think in, it's time to give it a memory. Yep, this next stage is all about databases. You're going to run into two main families here. On one side, you have relational databases, or SQL. Think of these like super organized spreadsheets. Postgres is a great example. On the other side, you've got non-relational, or NoSQL, which are way more flexible, like MongoDB. The goal here? Learn one from each side. That way you'll really get their unique strengths and know exactly when to use which. But here's the thing, no matter which database you choose, you'll always be using four fundamental operations. They're known as CRUD: create, read, update, and delete. Mastering these four actions is what will make your applications come alive. It's how they become dynamic and interactive. All right, so your application has a brain, the programming language, and a memory, the database. But how does it talk to the rest of the world? Well, this is where we build the connections, and we do that with APIs. So what the heck is an API really? The restaurant menu analogy is absolutely perfect. The menu lists what you can order and tells the kitchen exactly how to make it. An API does the same thing for software. It allows a client, like a mobile app, to request specific data or actions from your server in a really clear, structured way. You'll focus on two main types. REST is the most common one out there. It's built on the same ideas as the web itself, which makes it a fantastic starting point. GraphQL is a bit newer, and it's amazing for really complex apps where you need to grab data super efficiently. For now, though, making sure you master REST is your #1 priority. And listen, you absolutely cannot talk about APIs without talking about security. This is non-negotiable. You'll need to learn how to check who is using your app with things like JSON Web Tokens. You'll need to secure your data in transit with HTTPS. And you'll use rate limiting to stop your server from getting overwhelmed by attacks. It's absolutely critical stuff. This is it. This is the moment you've been working towards. You've planned, you've coded, you've built something amazing. And this final stage is all about packaging it up and sending it out into the world for everyone to use. So how do you do that without any drama? The modern answer is a tool called Docker. It lets you wrap up your entire application, your code, its libraries, everything it needs to run into this neat little box called a container. It's the ultimate answer to that dreaded phrase every developer hates. While it works on my machine, this has become the industry standard for a very, very good reason.
So once your app is all packed up in its container, you've got a choice to make. You can go the self-managed route where you set up everything yourself with tools like Nginx. That gives you total control. Or you can use a managed platform like AWS or Heroku. These services handle all the complicated stuff for you, which lets you focus more on just writing your code.
So, wow, we've just walked the entire path, haven't we? The fundamentals, picking a language, handling data, building APIs, and finally, deployment. You've seen all the steps. So let's just zoom out for a second and look at what this whole journey really means. This quote from our source material just hits the nail on the head. This roadmap isn't about just passively watching a bunch of tutorials. Real success, real learning comes from applying what you know. You have to build things, you have to break things, figure out why they broke, and then build some more. That's where the magic really happens. So, the big question, how long does this all take? With consistent effort, let's say around 20 hours a week, this entire journey from being a complete beginner to becoming a proficient, hireable backend developer, it's absolutely achievable in about 8 to 12 months. It's a marathon, not a sprint for sure, but there is a very real finish line in sight. So, the map is in your hands now. It lays out the terrain, the challenges, and the incredible destination at the end. The only question left is the most important one. What amazing thing are you going to build first?